Companies with the size of 4 to 5 employees, building billion-dollar company, programming should be one language, a second language that everybody should learn.
What's your take about low-income countries, how they can implement AI because they don't have enough resources?
It's our near future. It's going to happen. I don't think AI is ever going to replace all the programmers, but it's going to be an augmented skill. AI is basically transforming the whole payment system, banking industry.
Oh, really?
But over long term, I'm very optimistic about AI generating more different type of jobs which do not exist today. And then including the AI to augment. It's like having your own team advising you all the time. Why not take the help, right?
As automation expands, which uniquely human skills have become even more critical to success?
If you look at UAE made the AI learning mandatory for all the schools. I think the critical thinking and problem solving skill is super important. Understanding how to do prompting is probably one most underrated skill that people are not talking about.
Today I'm speaking with Tirthankar Chakraborty, a seasoned AI and analytics leader with 20 years experience in tech, banking and consulting. He leads Mastercard Analytics and AI practice across Eastern Europe, Middle East and Africa, driving innovation, monetization, and credit risk. With degrees from IIT Bombay and London Business School, he's combined deep technical expertise and sharp strategic thinking. So let's dive in. So you work with AI across billions of payment transactions. Can you paint a picture of what that actually looks like and where biggest impact happens?
Yeah, so in a 2023 report, McKinsey estimates around $1 trillion of additional annual value for the financial sector, right? And even PwC estimates that 70% of the banks or financial institutions today already using AI for credit risk and fraud point of view. So AI is basically transforming the whole payment system, banking industry.
Oh, really?
So, and if you look at the usage of AI, fraud is definitely comes to my mind, right? That's the earliest use case and everybody's getting better at fraud detection, followed by credit risk. Hyper-personalization is big over there. And when you look at AI, what are the three major areas that payment industry is getting benefit from AI? One is the value growth.
Okay.
The second one is efficiency. And the other one is cost reduction. And under each of these pillars, there are multiple different use cases that's overall changing the payment industry.
So that's pretty interesting. And I've heard three leading voices in AI give totally different advice. One said coding is obsolete. Another one core programming skills is still matters. And third one said passion beats profit. Based on your experience, what's the actual mindset wins in an AI-driven world?
I think they all talked about one of the components of all the required skills, right? So I think it's the balance between all three that will give somebody a very successful career. So if you look at without passion, you cannot be constantly learning. And with any new technology, just not for AI, the constant learning is important. So passion is important. Second one is in the age of AI, you need to understand how to talk to the digital end, right? How to talk to the machine. So having fundamental ideas about programming is very important because otherwise you won't be able to use the best way. And I was thinking that, okay, as you are learning more and more programming, of course, I don't think AI is ever going to replace all the programmers, but it's going to be an augmented skill. So the programmers with proper passion and this going to be very useful.
But to make a career in AI, it's essential to understand coding skills. So
I
it's
think
not
yes.
required.
Yes. So if you look at any curriculum of any even kindergarten schools, they are implementing different AI solutions, block-based programming, because programming is going to be anyway a basic language like we learn English or French or Spanish. Programming should be one language, a second language that everybody should learn because that's how they are going to interact with AI.
But a lot of people spoke about AI. It's makes a way to interact with AI technology without coding skills.
So let me give a personal experience, right? So one of the weekends, I was thinking, okay, I'm big into trading. I love looking at numbers. And I was thinking, okay, I don't have the coding skill of a very, very high tech programmer, but I understand how the programming works. I have coded before. So within a day, using ChatGPT, Perplexity, and others, I actually created a trading system with certain algorithms within a day. So what I'm trying to portray is, whether it's personal or someone else, what I hear, somebody who is adopting the skill set and then including the AI to augment. It's like having your own team advising you all the time. Why not take the help, right? So it's not going to replace anything, but it's going to augment your skill. You're going to be super fast. You're going to be more effective with your stuff. So coming back to your question, I think being passionate about AI and this particular field, and knowing the basic building blocks of the programming and starting early in the childhood, and finally being a strategic thinker, problem solver, critical problem solver, those are the key skill set that one should go for, and I think they will reap the maximum benefit in this new age.
I got it. So the concept of everyone becoming AI managers get discussed frequently. Can you clarify what this role transformation actually involve in practice?
Very interesting question. Yes, I've heard that too with some of my clients. AI manager, what does it really mean? So I think it's a way of working that we do, right? Who is a manager? Let's define that. A manager is someone who is collaborating with multiple different team members with different skill sets and getting something done with a particular vision. So who is AI manager? Who is just not dependent on some human being, but however, they are augmenting human being along with different AI tools and capabilities to make something, right? That is AI manager. So AI manager, from being just a people manager, AI manager is figuring out how I can enhance the effectiveness of my team using the right AI tools first. Second, I think AI managers now will have more time rather than managing team. They will have more time to do strategic thinking. So the areas that they were not venturing before, they can do more. And third, AI managers should be looking at, I think, the skill set enablement, right? So the current team that one has, how the AI manager can enhance the overall skill set by giving the right tools, giving the right trainings to the existing team members to basically expedite the overall ROI of the team as well as expedite the effectiveness of the team. That would be the key AI manager when I think of it.
Okay, and I have a question. What you suggest, like managers, to enhance productivity of their team using AI?
Yes. So AI managers would be those people who are leveraging AI, obviously within the governance and the policies under the organization. But AI managers are those who are using the AI skill set in the right way and enabling their team and taking a calculated risk in using this AI to enhance the overall productivity.
Okay.
Those are AI managers for me.
Okay. So for professionals concerned about AI displacement, what do you recommend as a practical first steps they can take immediately?
I think yes, it's there, right? And I go back to one of the books that I read many times by Andrew Scott and Linda Grattan, 100-Year Life, and they were talking about not about AI as such, but they are talking about the shifting careers. Yep. And every time there is a new technology, obviously there are job losses. But when I think about this, I don't think in the short term, yes, as you can see in the news, Google, Meta, lots of other different companies, they are changing. But these are, I think, short term. But over long term, I'm very optimistic about AI generating more different type of jobs which do not exist today. Let's say I'm an underwriter of a bank and I underwrite policies. As an underwriter, how AI can help me? And there's tons of material on YouTube and ChatGPT and Perplexity. Just learn how to do it better. Create the strategy. Tell your manager, tell your boss, this is how I want to change the function. Companies are also getting quite, I would say, adaptive to their application of the AI. So if the organization that you are working for are ready to include more AI tools, you will see that you are doing that job much better than any other banks or any other companies.
And can you give a real life example how a regular person in their job can implement AI and improve efficiency?
Yeah,
how they can start?
Yeah, so irrespective of skill set, when you are work in an organization, I think 25 to 30% of your time is spent just replying to emails. And many times, just 2 years back, right, when you used to write particularly big emails, We used to structure it for quite some time and revise it and look at the grammar, look at everything, right? And not everybody is native speaker. You can literally use AI without sharing any confidential information. You can structure your emails. That's the number one. Number two, minutes of the meeting. You are having probably 6 to 7 meetings on a regular basis. Summarizing that meeting through Microsoft Teams or any other, and companies, organizations, right now they have those tools. Just download the transcript. Ask ChatGPT to summarize it for 3 or 4 bullet points that are more impactful. So you can do a lot of stuff today to enhance your overall effectivity. And then this is general rules, right? But then once you get task specific, for that specific task, you can, of course, structure your thought process much better.
Yeah, so it's really helpful. Do you think our schools and universities are preparing people to AI native careers, or just we're training for like jobs that won't exist in 5 years?
I think schools and universities have started. So if you think about any application of innovation, right, it starts with the thesis papers that comes out from the different PhDs, right? And there was a study done in London Business School when I was a student there, and one of our professors told us it takes roughly 50 years for one research paper to become industrial in terms of application, right? I think that time scale is getting shorter, right? So have the schools started imparting AI knowledge? Yes. If you look at UAE made the AI learning mandatory for all the schools. So from kindergarten to year 12, all the kids mandatory learning about what is data, what is AI. I mean, I see my daughter.
I didn't heard about it.
Yeah. So UAE now has made it mandatory for kindergarten to 12.
In all kindergarten?
Yes, across UAE. That the schools should impart and create a curriculum so that the children can learn what is data, what is AI. The other day, my 11-year-old, she came to me and said that, one company visited them and then they talked about AI, right? Yeah. So schools have started. But is there a gap? Yes, of course, there is a gap. Can we do it better? Of course, there are improvements. And people are also figuring out, because with AI comes a lot of risk and cyber and fraud and other risk, which partner or vendor to trust, right? But I think work is going on. So UAE, Singapore, Finland, they are basically going ahead with AI knowledge and imparting AI knowledge for the small kids. Yes.
It's funny. I think a lot of I think some kids in kindergarten can be like smarter than old people.
Yes. So it's like, when you learn a language, now they are learning if-else loop with some building blocks. So you don't have to write the coding, the language, but there are a lot of apps that they are using currently to get the idea of what is programming, right? What is data? And these, as they learn it, it becomes super easy for them later in life to understand how a computer is communicating with them.
What do you think about Neuralink chip? What can be...
Neuromorphic one.
Yes.
Yes, so that is, again, so quantum computing and neuromorphic computing, right? So those two are, I would say, everybody's talking about Gen AI and LLM.
It's coming soon. It's inevitable.
Yes, but then neuromorphic chips coming. So maybe the computing power gets much, much better. So how we think, if AI started thinking of that, I'm just curious to see how fast AI is changing, and are we able to cope up with all the governance around it? Will we be adaptive enough? Do we become more restrictive in applying AIs? Those are the things we need to watch out for, yeah.
Okay. So what is the optimal approach for a country to design and implement nationwide AI strategy that ensures sustainable, long-term, and global competitiveness?
Yeah, that's a loaded question, right? I'll try.
Okay.
For this, I think it's the right balance between, first of all, the visionary leadership, right?
Okay.
And I think about UAE, right? So UAE has it, right? That's number one. Number two, I think the ecosystem play. So how do we enable other startup players, other fintech companies to be part of this big game, right? So ecosystem play is second. And I think it's the third one is governance and ethics. So how do we manage the governance around it? What are the rules and regulations that we need to put in so that we don't put people in at risk? However, it is also not choking the innovation, right? Those are the key players. Now, if you think about the visionary strategy that you need, or the vision that you need on AI strategy, I don't think AI strategy is standalone strategy. Any country like UAE 2031 vision, right? UAE has a vision.
Okay.
So AI should be part of that vision. So AI is not a standalone strategy somewhere else, right? Number one. Number two, for that strategy to work, you need the SWOT analysis, the strength and weakness and the opportunities and the threats. So
True.
what are my strengths? Do I have the right infrastructure? Do I have the right GPUs? In terms of weakness, do I have the right skill set, right? So those are the things that you need to look at. And then for the ecosystem play, we need to figure out which problems the government has to, which problems the governments have to keep it themselves, and where the private companies will not find a lot of ROI, right? Ultimately, private companies, they have shareholders, but then there are things or problems that we need to solve on healthcare, problems on transportation, problem on safety, problems on lots of areas. So some are strategic ones that the government has to take care of, and then some that the private companies can pick up and the fintechs can help. So those are the areas. So I think it's a vision, ecosystem, and governance. Around those three areas, a country should have their AI strategy built.
What's your take about low-income countries, how they can implement AI because they don't have enough resources? For example, you work with Africa, how these countries think about implementing AI?
I think the trend that we see here, so first of all, and by AI, now we are talking about Gen AI all the time, and Gen AI is enabled by these GPUs, and the GPUs are restricted in some way. I mean, it's not in full supply for all the countries, right? So what do? I think they are creating custom AI models for a specific sector. That's number one. They are trying to partner with the cloud infrastructure. And many countries now, they have private clouds or the public clouds. And those public clouds are coming with the GPU and the other infrastructure. So rather than trying to be on soil for those countries, if they partner with those cloud companies, it's almost like you are paying rent rather than owning the house. So obviously paying rent is cheaper, but then you can start your AI journey. Yes. So while you build your long-term strategy, but at least you can start short-term with these cloud partners.
Okay. So in your experience, which roles have been augmented rather replaced by AI? And as automation expands, which uniquely human skills have become even more critical to success?
So look, I will, most of my time I spent in payments industry, so I'll talk about that. I think if I think about any banking industry, right? One is on the credit risk side, the time that it takes to underwrite someone, particularly with even SMEs, right? It's a lot, right? Sometimes it takes 2 weeks or more than that to underwrite someone. Now, AI is going to automate the SME onboarding, SME lending process. Same thing with the consumer lending process as well, right? So that is one. The other one is the back-end operations. So a lot of the times organizations, they have to create regulatory reports, compliance reports. That will require a human being typing out all the reports, understanding all the patterns.
Right.
So with AI, having the right detection of AMLs and other areas or regulation and creating these automated reports using LLM are going to create more efficient way of working for us, right? Fraud detection is, of course, there. Now, in this world where a lot of things are going to get automated, so how you can or one can leverage the right skill to get the best out of AI journey, right? I think the critical thinking and problem solving skill is super important. So I talk to my team, I see a lot of data scientists. They are very good with data, but when you ask them to paint the bigger picture, right? When you ask them to create a story out of it, people are, I think, hungry for more stories coming out of the data. I think they are somehow tired of looking at lots of numbers, lots of charts and graphs. And the leaders are asking, so what? And they want the so what answer immediately rather than waiting for 2-3 weeks of iterations. So somebody who knows how to structure the overall problem, have the right critical thinking in mind, and then use the AI. And that's why those new trains, the new AI skills that they need to adopt, and not necessarily you have to go deep. Having a cursory knowledge on something that can help you in your job is good enough, right? And creating this, and finally, collaboration. So with AI, what happens is, because you're rich, as a employee in the organization gets bigger, you need to collaborate a lot more. You need to explain what you are doing, and you need to explain that it's transparent. You need to explain that you have already done the data privacy checks. So any product that one creates with AI should go through the data privacy lens. So one should understand these different functions, be passionate, of course, and be a critical thinker and a storyteller. I think
Okay.
that will get somebody far.
Yeah, okay. It's really, I think it's totally essential. And what is your understanding of critical thinking? What you put in this meaning?
Right. So I think I can probably best explain this with an example, right? So let's say your manager or leader comes to you and asks, okay, we are a payment processor, right, or a local switch, and we want to create a data monetization strategy using AI tool. And
Also another question: how to improve critical thinking if
Yes.
you're a manager and executives?
yes, I think there AI can help. So on this use case, right? So let's say I'm going for a data monetization exercise for a local switch, and so where do I start, right? A typical data scientist, even a senior data scientist, will jump right into the problem, trying to probably create a product without trying to understand, okay, so what are the different steps that are involved?
Okay.
So what do I mean by data monetization? Who are going to be my clients? Who are going to be my internal stakeholders? Do I need to include my data privacy, and where do they play? So creating, it's like a painter, before jumping into a painting, understanding the whole canvas, and then figuring out what tools and processes required to create a picture which is appealing to everybody.
It's like global vision.
Yeah, so critical thinking is more about creating a framework, a structure. Typically I have seen strategy consultants, they do really, really nicely. But someone doesn't have to be strategy consultant to do it now that we have AI. And that is to your second question. I think understanding how to do prompting is probably one most underrated skill that people are not talking about. And with Udemy and Coursera, a lot of other YouTube videos, just spending weekends, 2 to 3 weekends on generative AI and prompting can get someone really, really good in what they do. So if somebody is not a consultant but a data scientist, and if he or she is solving a problem, they can really structure the problem just like a pro consultant, because he or she knows prompting much better. Now she knows what she is looking for.
Sure. And
And I think that is what people should go for. They should complement their skill set with the skill set that they have versus what AI can give them. So think of AI as buddies and the friends who are there to help you.
And what's your approach for prompting?
So prompting, again, ideally for you to work efficiently, there are a lot of different promptings that you can think of. And then depending on if you are doing a research,
Like our own framework?
Yes. So on the prompting, I think first you identify what are the repetitive tasks that you do throughout the day, or what are the different things that you are engaged in throughout the month. Identify the categories, and then figure out, okay, what prompting do I need to do for the AI to give me the best information that I need. And Narayan Murthy, recently told that for any speech creation, he would take a day. Now with AI and Chat GPT, I think somebody in his family just introduced that to him. He is preparing the whole speech in a couple of hours.
Yeah, that's true.
So that's the level of productivity that we are talking about.
Yeah, that's nice. It's really nice. And can you share a real example of AI in financial services that would surprise people?
I think some are known. So the surprise element, it depends on the degree of awareness as well. So I can name quite a few. So the first one is agentic AI.
Okay.
Agentic AI. So imagine
It's like ChatGPT or GenSpark?
No,
or...
it is way more. So it is after Gen AI, right? The agentic AI, what it does, let's say you want to go, for your vacation, let's say Bali, okay? And today, what is the way, or before, what was the way? You would go to Google or anywhere else and then search it and spend good amount of time to create the itinerary, identify the cheap hotels or the cheap flight or the better hotels, better flights, and then you call somebody. Agentic AI, the concept is AI will perform or execute tasks on behalf of you, which is required to do it in different steps. So the agentic AI will take the different steps that you as a human being would do. For example, to book a travel, agentic AI will not only search for you, but will actually book the travel for you with your payments information that you have given, consent, you have given the permission to use your card.
And what's the tools available in free?
So a lot of, I haven't heard of any free tool, but a lot of companies are actually creating, their whole USP is around creating agentic AI, right? That's number one.
For internal purposes.
Yes. That's number one. Number two, I think another innovation that has started is on-device AI, which means our mobile devices are now very powerful. So rather than running a model outside, our mobile devices will be able to generate a lot of information about us and become our agent, become our assistant.
So you want to say I can run like on LLM on my phone?
I mean, based on your mobile usage, yes, of course. And based on your mobile usage, your mobile can become your personal assistant, maybe giving you advice on your health, maybe giving advice on financial matters, maybe giving advice on the way you spend on the card.
How
right?
I can make it?
Yeah, so I think it's coming. These are all coming. So it's going to be super interesting, and that's why a lot of the startups are coming into those areas. And then, of course, we talked about quantum, computing. So it's going to make AI computing very, very fast. So the type of problems that one may reach out to, right now it's not possible, right? So lots of really interesting problems that are getting solved through AI. Somebody has to be just on top of their game, learn and read a lot. It's just the pace of it that you need to be really on 24/7, even during weekends, reading about it, so that you are always catching the wind. But it's not easy catching the wind all the time.
Yeah, for example, I decided to invest in AI education and AI learning, for example, a few hours per day. And every day I understand this amount of time not enough to understand, because every day something new happened and you understand, okay, maybe increase my time.
Yeah. So, but I think that's okay because, we have all heard about that cumulative formula, right? The 1% increase every day is around 130% over the year or something like that, right? So the cumulative effect is always there. So learning 1% extra, the tiny detail every day before sleep is good.
Yeah. And you work closely with transaction data. How do you turn it into actionable AI sites while maintaining privacy standards?
Yeah, I think that's also very important, privacy standard, right? The first one is any product or solution that you create with transaction data, and particularly, I work in financial sector where there are a lot of regulations, right? And there are a lot of customer details. So the first thing
100%.
So first thing is anonymization and stripping out all the personally identified information, PII information. And then you aggregate it, because sometimes the use case does not require a customer level data, and then you aggregate and then you can get the same information, right? Giving an example, let's say one fintech, they have a company where they are giving a solution where they are helping the real estate agents understand the value of the plot. Now, how do they do it? From a switch or from anybody else? By looking at the customer spend or cardholder spend across different geographies or within a particular grid, they can understand what is the footfall, what's the demand of that particular place. But for that, you don't need a customer level detail. You can aggregate the information and then present the data in a way that they have no idea to backtrack the data but still have enough information. So I think that's one, anonymization and grouping. Second one is, I think, the governance, right? Privacy by design. So bring your data privacy team, legal team, pretty much at the start of creating. So there is a product studio, right? When you develop a product, you need to bring them early on so that they understand what use case you are going to solve for.
What's one challenge of scaling AI in large organization that almost no one talks about, but every team feels?
Yeah, I think there are quite a few. From my personal experience, I think people underplay the quality of data. Okay, so I've seen people and stakeholders and customers becoming super excited about AI use case, And then when you start, you understand the data is just not ready. The quality of the data is messy. There is no metadata. There is no data model. So I think understanding the importance of data strategy, data model, creating clean data, scalable data for AI application is something that is underrated. People don't really understand
And
all
how
the
to
time.
understand this data is with good quality or not good?
And that's exactly why you need a target operating model for the data. And then you probably the best way to learn is identify the use case, right, from your strategy and try implementing the use case. And through that, you definitely learn a lot of drawbacks of the data. So that's one. I think the second one, and not in a specific hierarchy, I think both are equally important, is a cultural change. So the data team or the strategy team or digital team of an organization may be
It depends of country and culture.
yes, country and culture and on soil versus cloud. At the same time, within the teams, there are dynamics, right? So typically, you will see that AI sits within a team like digital AI or data team. But I think AI is now changing the entire organization. So how your internal stakeholders are going to interact with you to develop the AI journey or to come on board on that journey with the same vision, I think it has to come top down. And sometimes the leaders explain that this is needed, but they didn't have the monthly checkups or weekly checkups and understand how they're, and then it gets lost in IT jargon. It gets lost into some specific use case creation, which are then not aligned with the vision.
I got it, what you mean.
Yeah.
Okay. There is also debate around on-soil and cloud AI deployment. What's your take, and how do you see this affecting global competitiveness?
Yeah. So I think it's a balance between, when you think about on soil, it's more about control, privacy, governance, right? Versus when you think about on cloud, it's more about agility, testing fast, failing fast, and catching the wind, innovate early, accelerate, right? And the solution is the hybrid, right? Hybrid solution is best. And we have seen Singapore, Finland, they are using a hybrid approach. So if a particular data or a sector is very important, like banking or healthcare or insurance, over there, on soil is important because you can control the data, you know what's happening. Those are strategic areas. And so the way you create is important. Versus if it's the other sort of industries and where you want fintechs to come in and then innovate fast, create product first, then on cloud is good, right? The other thing is the cost. So for on soil to create AI application, it's a heavy cost, right? It's again like creation of this.
I think it's similar, like you told before, like it's short-term or long-term strategy.
Yes, and it should go hand in hand. So one should adopt a hybrid strategy where they should allow the fintechs to do their job, what they do well, create and catch the wind. Whereas on the other hand, create a strategic framework, having a right governance, and then create those solutions and the products with the right ethics and framework and with the right governance body around it.
Okay. Beyond large language model, what emerging technologies do you believe could fundamentally change AI landscape?
Yeah, so I already talked about similar question like agentic AI. Agentic AI is definitely there. It's going to change quite a bit. Quantum computing that we talked about,
Yeah.
Yeah, so those are the ones, and then the
chips.
And the chips, right? And then the other one, I think the fourth one is about custom AI models, custom Gen AI models. So rather than having large LLM models like what we have, I think we will see a lot of very industry specific or sector specific AI models that are getting created. So you will see a lot of innovation in that area. Okay. Very specific to healthcare, maybe a chat GPT like thing, but only healthcare specific.
Yeah, it will be good.
Only banking specific.
I think it's a lot of opportunities for startup.
Yes.
What's the most contrarian prediction you're willing to make about AI's trajectory that others in the industry might disagree with?
Okay. I think the one that is close to my favorite, right, and that's based on different readings that I do. I think other than people think there will be a general purpose AI, right? AI doing everything. almost good as human being, right? I think instead of that, we will see a lot of purpose-built AI. And it's not the big companies who will come up with it. I think it's the small companies, fintechs, very niche, that they are going to come with it. So as a result, we may see there is a race by the big fours and the big companies trying to acquire these small ones, but then probably they will run out because there are so many of those small ones that will become super powerful. And I think companies with the size of 4 to 5 employees building billion-dollar company, it's our near future. It's going to happen. So my contrarian view is not general purpose model, custom built model, and not the big companies who will do it. I think these are small companies, some bright kids who will probably come up with it.
Yes, it will be really cool. I will raise this feature. How are you personally preparing for continued AI advancement? What advice would you give another executives?
I think let's answer it in 2 ways, right? So how do I suggest my stakeholders do it? I think with all this AI jargon, it's not needed to understand each and every term of AI. First start with organization strategy. What is the organization strategy? What's the vision, right? And that stays the same, right? And then understand how AI can help. What should be the AI strategy to reach organization strategy and vision? Then identify in a collaborative manner what are the use cases that you need to drive, short-term, mid-term, long-term, easy to implement, difficult to implement, right? Those sort of structure. Identify these use cases, create the agile team, and then have the right resources within the team and complementing skill set. Many a times I see the team has only data scientists. They don't have data engineers, or they don't have the tech stack, somebody who can develop the tech stack, or they may not have an analytics translator. And by analytics translator, I mean someone who can simplify the problem and understand what the business is asking for versus what's the language of the data scientist.
It's not like product management?
It's not always product management. Because many a times companies are trying to solve, let's say, a cost problem. You don't have to develop a product, but you just need to identify how AI can help in cost reduction, and someone needs to frame this problem, talk to the business senior stakeholders, explain that problem in a way that the data engineer can understand how to implement. So having a team who are complementing each other, having the right vision, identifying the right use cases, and most importantly, I think also collaborating with the fintechs and the startups in that world. So do not try to build on your own everything, because then it will be too late. So always partner with fintechs while you build your own capability. I think that would be my suggestion. For me personally, what I do is, I try to read a lot after the office hours, as you do as well. Prompting, I learn more and more from the prompting part, right?
On Coursera.
Yeah, on Coursera, on Udemy, honestly, any of the sites good, but then there are a lot of Khan Academy and the other sites that are free sites, right? One thing is super easy. When I was a kid, library was the place to go. But now, if a kid is interested, they can really go anywhere and get the stuff. It's really highly valuable stuff. They can get it for free. And that's like expansion of your knowledge by 10 times, right?
Okay. How has your own relationship with AI tools evolved in your daily work?
Well, I'm just enjoying my time right now because I can see myself way more productive. Starting from client meeting, the preparation of the client meeting is a lot faster. So the turnaround time for me to go back on strategy development or creation of a particular narrative, or even my regular stuff, as I said earlier, right? Drafting an email, which is super important, and I don't want to miss any particular point, right? Okay. Or even looking at the minutes of the meeting and identifying, or even reading a book, right? I mean, let's say you want to do a research and there are 10 different PDF documents that you have downloaded. You can really upload those public documents and ask AI, give me the summary. Brief. So know the prompting, and if you know the prompting, you can extract maximum value with minimum time.
What's your top 3 AI tools?
So I think this is probably common with others. I think I love Perplexity because there's a lot of research that is done. and then you can always trace back to the truth, as in what is the source of that information. You can go and validate. So when I do deep research, when I come up with a big strategy, I want to understand everything, that's Perplexity. Whereas ChatGPT is like my AI assistant.
Okay.
Regular interactions, small ones, drafting or minutes and lots of other things, ChatGPT is my go-to place. And then there are some, there are some slide creation areas that you can use, but for those are more for personal hobby, not necessarily we can use it for our organization. And over here, I think organizations with a little bit of risk-taking approach, they are slowly opening up these LLM tools, the other AI applications, to the employees, because any organization which is not doing it are going to be less effective than organizations who are doing it.
By the way, just curious, do you teach your kids how to use like ChatGPT or Perplexity?
So with my elder one, the 16-year-old, yes. So I have told him, I have given him some source, and they have started. However, I think the one distinction that we need to make is for a kid to use ChatGPT and Perplexity, there is a risk as well. So we are in the industry for a very long time when there was no ChatGPT. So we learned it the hard way. So we understand the basic building blocks, right? But if a kid is using it, and then there is also a study which shows, and it's a very recent study where I saw the brain image of the two individuals using only ChatGPT versus using, or it's not about ChatGPT, it's about any open, AI problems or, the Perplexity ones. The brain image basically shows that the performance of the individual using ChatGPT, Perplexity, or any other model is a lot less when they are those tools are taken out compared to someone,
definitely,
right?
Because it's required less efforts.
So when the schools and universities are now, many of them are going back to paper-based exam, right? So that is one thing the parents should watch out, that how they are exposing the kids, whether the things that they are writing are these authentic, how much help they have taken from these particular
that's
tools.
the right decision. Which AI trend concerns you most in a risk management perspective?
I think there are two. One is AI is becoming really, really intelligent, right? And when I hear Elon Musk saying, Elon Musk is a guy, when he talks, you need to listen, right? So when he speaks, and he is basically saying that AI will become so intelligent that there is a 10 to 20% chance that it can become rogue and it can harm humanity. And it is changing so fast, we may not have control. Before it happens, we would not know that it may happen. So there is a doomsday kind of scenario. So there is a 10-20% chance. So that is something that I'm worried about. The other one is quite real, is that, I see this posting that people are generating passport photos and IDs which are fake, but which are very real.
Do you know why he told like 15-20%?
10 to 20? No, I don't know. But I have seen that comment from his side. So, you always attach a probability to any future event. I think that's what he is doing. But 10 to 20% is a sizable probability, right? The number two is about the fake IDs and the cybersecurity and fraud, right? With all our bank accounts and details everywhere with password protected and stuff, how much time does it take for a fraudster? And they are, very smart people as well, right? So how they are using AI tools. And then the war between someone using AI tool to create something and then someone is using AI tool to prevent something. Where does it really end? So those are the risk factors that I think of.
Okay, got it. And last question. What advice would you give to investors evaluating AI opportunities?
Yeah, so the first one in my mind, and for any investment, I think I see any company, the first thing that they do is they say AI, I'm doing AI. So first cut out the fluff compared to versus the actual stuff. So understanding what they are really doing, is AI just a gimmick or AI is really the USP, something somebody has to understand and get an expert to understand. You don't have to on your own, right? Because it can vary. Number one. Number two, I think if it's a startup early stage funding, when there is not much of proof point, just believe in the team, see who these guys are or who these people are, where are they coming, do they have credible degree, and is the team, and this is like true for any startup. And the third, if it is a little lower, later stage like Series A, Series B, understand the product. Is the product market fit is good? Are there competitors? Because there are so many things. I can give examples without naming. I used to. There is one website, and I'm not naming.
Okay.
There's one website which was the whole USP around the website was they are going to check the writings of the individuals and make it better.
Okay.
Right. However, now with OpenAI and with ChatGPT Perplexity, the whole USP is gone. So trying to understand the future trends, trying to understand whether the big players can do it very fast. And those are the things that someone has to understand from an investor point of view. So it's team, it's the future trends, and cutting out the fluff from the actual substance. Those are the ones I would say. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Thanks for coming. This conversation was really insightful.
Thank you. My pleasure.